Welcome if you are joining into the Ant-Man channel. Remember to subscribe to my channel. Sorry if my hair's kind of messy, but I haven't really had time to do it today because I've been, listening to the news all day and kind of looking through my emails and stuff. Been really busy. I try to wake up early and get all this stuff done, but there just isn't enough time, my friend. I wish I had more time for stuff, man. I mean, doesn't everyone? WND exclusive, 8 deadly agents to bring U.S. to its knees. Millions of lives at stake as Iran develops biological arsenal. This is by Reza Khalili. Reza Khalili served in CIA Directorate of Operations as a spy in the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. Counterterrorism expert, currently serves on the Task Force on National and Homeland Security, an advisory board authorized by Congress. He is the author of the award-winning book A Time to Betray and regularly appears in national and international media as an expert on Iran and counterterrorism in the Middle East. And he writes, Iranian scientists working under orders from the radicals running the Islamic regime have genetically altered microbial agents in a nightmarish scheme to bring the West to its knees. According to a source in the Revolutionary Guard's intelligence unit with knowledge of Iran's microbial research and development, the scientists with Russia and North Korea help currently possess 8 extremely dangerous microbial agents that, if unleashed, could kill millions of people. As reported exclusively on WND on December 16th, the source revealed the existence of a plant in Marzanabad, Iran, where 12 Russian and 28 Iranian scientists are working on microbial agents for bombs. At that time, the source disclosed that Iran was working on 18 agents with 4 completed. He has now provided information that with 2 work at 2 other plants, Iran has created a total of 8 microbial agents, with research on insects to be used as the vector to infect the societies of its enemies. They think they're so smart with all this. Digital Globe image, May 20th, 2012. It's like a picture here on this article. I guess that's a microbial plant in Marzanabad, Iran. I kind of thought chemical warfare was kind of like, not allowed. But let's see. The 8 agents are anthrax, encephalitis, the blueprint of this virus, Venezuelan equine encephalitis, was provided by Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez in an agreement 2 years ago with the Islamic regime. Yellow grain developed with the help of North Korea, SARS, Ebola, cholera, smallpox, and plague. Iran, with North Korea's help, has genetically altered the smallpox virus that makes current vaccinations useless against it, and research at 2 facilities that act as drug companies but are fronts for the deadly research shows insects can be used as the vector to carry plague, infamous as the Black Death according to the source. The outbreak of plague in the Middle Ages killed 1/3 of Europe's population, and it resurfaced in the 19th century in Asia. Killing millions in China and India. The radicals ruling Iran believe their planned microbial attacks cannot be traced to them. The source said through various commerce channels and trade with Europe and even through Mexico into the U.S., the regime could release the infected insects and small rodents into populated cities, causing an epidemic that could possibly kill tens of millions of people, he said. The most dangerous biological weapons agents today are genetically modified or even synthetically created in a laboratory in ways that not only make them more contagious, infectious, and lethal, but also are intended to defy existing vaccine countermeasures, said Claire M. Lopez, a senior fellow at the Center for Security Policy, a nonpartisan think tank based in Washington, D.C. Among such biological weapons, agents are genetically modified strains of anthrax, plague, and smallpox. The open source literature consistently describes Russia and North Korea as sources of such strains, and the scientific know-how to create and deploy them, Lopez said. Likewise, Iran and Syria are reported to be among the recipients of such deadly biological weapons, agents. Each of these countries also has an extensive medical and pharmaceutical research and development infrastructure within which to produce and also conceal its BW programs. Both Iran and Syria also have shared not only these pathogens, but the artillery, ballistic missile, and munitions technology with each other, and likely with Hezbollah as well for delivery of such pathogens. Wow. Lopez said that insects such as fleas, flies, and mosquitoes long have been recognized as natural vectors for the spread of deadly diseases, and that disease-bearing insects have been used in warfare for centuries, perhaps most notoriously by the Japanese during World War II against China, causing the death of hundreds of thousands. While cholera typically is not fatal if treated quickly, some strains can kill within hours. Bubonic plague has been the cause of some of the greatest pandemics in world history. The Revolutionary Guard source added that the Islamic regime has already armed 37 of its ballistic missiles with microbial agents, which upon launch would spray targeted areas as opposed to an explosion. It has also armed cluster bombs with such agents which could be dropped from fighter jets spraying in an intended area. Some evil stuff, brother. What makes it worse, the source said, it is that Hezbollah, Islamic Jihad, and other terrorist proxies of the regime have now been armed with microbial weapons, as reported in the Washington Times in August. Chemical and microbial weapons have been transferred to Iran's proxies in the region. The West, with its soft approach on the radical regime in Iran, soft approach is an understatement. More like welcoming the devil in for some Christmas dinner or whatever you want to call it. We tend to tell our general public here in this country now to be tolerant of everyone who hates you, you know? So yeah, that's just to put it in a light way, what he said right here. The West, with its soft approach on radical regime in Iran, on the radical regime in Iran, has provided the needed time not only for it to arm itself with some of the most deadliest biological weapons, but also with the help of North Korea to get the nuclear bomb. And despite what the West believes, is now working to arm its missiles with such weapons of mass destruction, the source said. And that is the article. That is some crazy stuff right there, ladies and gentlemen. And there's also like a little voting thing here. You can place your vote on this. If you go to WND, this article is titled 8 Deadly Agents to Bring U.S. to Its Knees. So there you can have this. You can vote on, while Washington fiddles, will Iran be the death of us all? And then you could give your opinion by clicking on one of these little bubbles you see here. Yeah. Keep listening to the mainstream media tell you that, Islamists aren't radical. They don't kill anybody. They're good people. I don't know if they're good people or not, but I don't know about what they practice religiously should be undermined and tolerated as if it were something minor that didn't have any, all I could say is deception. I've heard too many stories about Islamic people tricking Christians into being their friends, and then they absolutely try to murder them or ruin their life in some way. And I'm not going to leave myself open to that. I get like random Facebook ads from Islamic Muslim people, and I'm just like, no. It's not that, I live in fear and I'm paranoid. It's just that I know my enemy, my friend. I know that I cannot afford to trust anyone, especially from a Facebook website where they openly tell you, that you're an idiot because they tell everybody your information. They'll sell your information like that. So, be careful. Be careful who you want to share your information, your personal information with, because that could be how they infiltrate it, you know what I mean? Infiltrate the country, I don't know. But that's for that, I'll be back later with some news. Thank you for listening.